Good afternoon, Mr. Byron. Today is Thursday, January 24th, 2010, and we are interviewing Cyril Byron at the College Park Aviation Museum. Dr. Byron is 89 years old and was born on April 14th, April 15th, 1920. My name is Alan Hill, and I'll be the interviewer today. Chelsea Dorman will be running the camera and sound system. Dr. Byron served during World War II in the U.S. Army Air Corps. His highest rank was Administrative Sergeant Major, and he served in the European theater. Once again, good afternoon, Dr. Byron.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Byron, could you tell me a little bit about yourself? Could you tell me where you were born and raised?
I was born in the Bronx, New York, and born in the hospital, rather, Lincoln Hospital.
Lincoln Hospital?
In the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised in the Bronx.
Okay.
I spent my early high school, early elementary education was all in the Bronx.
Okay. Where'd you go to elementary school? You remember, you know?
PS 35 in the Bronx.
Okay.
It's off of Brook Avenue. Well, this was in the Bronx. Okay. And every once in a while, you're going to see me laugh about something.
That's okay.
Because I remember when I was in elementary school, I was one or two blacks or African Americans in the class.
Okay.
All the way through elementary, junior, senior high school, there was never more than 4 blacks or African Americans, you want to call them now, in my classes. Never. I had 2 African American teachers in all those years. Just never wasn't around. In elementary, I have to smile at this. In elementary school, the teacher wouldn't or couldn't say Cyril. She would say cereal. See? And just like you're laughing, the class laughed. Well, I got tired of that, and every time she'd say cereal, if you remember in those days, the Iowa Gang comedy, Farina, because Farina is cereal. And the little boys say, hey, cereal, hey, Farina. And all I do is do this, you know, that means let's go outside.
Right, right.
After class, we're going to have a little time. I did that so many times. Every time I got in a fight, when I got home, my mother would spank me. And she always said, sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never harm you.
Right.
And I would say, to myself, of course, Mom, you don't know that sometimes when those names kind of hurt. And that's why I got to kind of protect myself. I never said that to her now.
Right,
Let's get this straight.
Right, no.
Because
you didn't want another beating.
Which I would have gotten.
I know. I was raised that same way.
And so my uncle was there from the West Indies. My whole family was there.
Okay.
My uncle was there visiting. And he said, why do you always beat him when he comes home like that? Why don't you call him Billy? Because he cried like a billy goat when he was a baby. So my family called me Billy.
Oh, okay.
And the rest of the years, everybody called me Bill.
Oh, really?
I would tell them, that's my name, Billy, rather than try to explain Cyril, because they ask, where you get that from?
Right.
So they know where you got Billy from, anybody calling anybody Billy. And all through, I'm trying to think of that, it was when I was in college. Fellows come to New York, visit, and when I get back to campus, you don't live in New York, you always talk. I said, I do. Well, I was up there, and we tried to find you in the phone book. And that's when I laughed. I said, my name is not William in the phone book. Didn't you tell us your name was Billy? Yes, my name is Billy. To you, because if I told you Cyril, you'll come back next week and want to know, what did you say?
Right.
So
right.
That's how I got Billy.
Oh, okay.
And I realized this will be easy to do, so I just said Billy. Anybody ask me, even fellas now that are closer, they don't call me Cyril. It's odd sometimes to hear somebody call me Cyril.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it stayed with you all your life?
Oh, but that's right.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Unless, like, when I first meet somebody, it all depends where I am. I would say Bill, or Cyril now, but Cyril. But so when I hear Cyril, I realize now that I knew it a long time, that's my name, but now I accept it easily.
Oh, okay.
See?
All right.
And I went to Morris High School in the Bronx. There again, I was the one or two only. I played a lot of sports, and that's how I got. When I say got through, made me do my work, because I couldn't do my work, I couldn't play sports.
Okay.
I played basketball, baseball, and ran on the track.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't play any football till I got to college.
And what college was that?
Morgan State College, what is now Morgan State University.
In Baltimore?
In Baltimore, yeah,
Okay.
it's in Baltimore. I went there in February of 1940, and that's in my freshman year. In 42, I got this letter from home, and you know, when you're in school, you take the letter and put up the sunlight to see if that little rectangle's in there.
Yeah.
No rectangle. So I opened the letter. Inside there was another letter, and I knew I expected it, but I hated to receive it. It said, "Greetings." When I saw that, I put the letter down. I didn't read it anymore, because I knew what the rest was. You have been selected or appointed or whatever I want to call it. It was a kind of invitation you did not refuse.
Right.
So that was in February of 42. I had just finished my sophomore year, looking forward to going to my junior year. I didn't get there. When I went home that weekend and joined up, excuse me, I was drafted.
Right.
So I might as well tell it like it is.
Right.
And they sent me to Upton, New York, Camp Upton,
Okay.
for my basic training. And after the training, he put us on a train, well, us, me and the rest of the fellas, on a train and sent us to Tuskegee, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you that was my downfall feeling, because I knew about Alabama and Tuskegee.
Right.
See, I had a scholarship to go to Tuskegee before I wound up in Morgan. I was supposed to go to Tuskegee on a Tuesday. That Saturday, as normally, we played basketball down at the YMCA on 131st Street.
Okay.
And the scout from Morgan was scouting somebody else, but he saw me playing. And the coach of us said, "Here's another one. He just graduated, and here are two more." So he came and talked to all of us.
Okay.
And he said, I told him I had a scholarship to go to Tuskegee. Tuskegee, way down there? I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "Well, would you mind if I came to talk to your parents tomorrow?" Because this was Saturday.
Right.
He was going back to Baltimore. I said, "Sure." So I gave him, but he came. You talked to our parents, and we sat and talked a while. So my brother knew more about this than my father, only since I'd getting scholarships.
Right.
And he said, "Well, what are you offering in terms of what's your scholarship?"
Right.
He said, "Well, it's an athletic scholarship, and we pay your tuition and all that." And I grinned, because I know my folks didn't have money to pay tuition.
Right.
So when he said that, he took out a folder to show Morgan. "Ooh, that looks pretty. Got a dormitory."
Right.
And if you ever know anything about Morgan, it sits here, and all along here is like a park. Stupid me thought this was part of the college. Nice green grass all laid out.
Right.
So I got the scholarship.
Oh, okay.
He went back Monday, I don't know when, but that Thursday I got a letter from the coach at Morgan inviting me to come into Morgan as soon as you can. Now that's the weekend I was supposed to be going down to Tuskegee. And my mother and we all sat down and talked about it. She said, "Well, now you gave your word here. It wasn't a letter of intent like they have now.
Right.
Just say you go." And I said, "You know one thing, Mom? Morgan is in Baltimore, and that's close to coming home if I can get home. If I went down way down Alabama," well, she was glad about that too, because Alabama's a long way to see her baby son.
Right.
My brother was older.
Right.
In fact, there was 6 of us, 4 girls and 2 boys.
I was going to ask you, did you have any other brothers and sisters in school with
Just
you?
one brother and 4 sisters.
Okay.
When you said in school, the one thing I did not like was going to school after my sister. Morris High School was one place, and junior high school, because, "Oh, you're Byron. Oh, your sister was so," I don't want to hear all that stuff.
She was so good, and she was so smart.
Oh, she yeah, she was so smart and so nice.
Yep.
She never got in any trouble. And yes, ma'am, all the time.
I'm not her,
See,
right? I'm
no,
not her.
I had one sister that was older and two sisters younger, so I didn't have to worry about them because they came after me. But the older one, Blanche, we called her Tita Blanche, everywhere she went, she was one of these young ladies who, A, wasn't good enough. So, so she used to come, she came home one afternoon, and on her report card, they used to write numbers in and put letters. And she had 4 90s, 1 85, and she was crying. I said, she's not too bright, because I knew what I was getting on my report card. So these teachers would say, oh, you're Blanche's brother. She was one of my best students. Nobody ever said that. One of the best when they said when he was one of them to get his work, but you got to, kind of nudge him a little bit, see. Right. But that was so funny. Every time I went to, every class when I brought my report card, my mother always showed, now look at that, look at that, kept pointing where my sister gets. Right. And look what you got over here. Right. Yes, my mom going to try next time, I'll do better. And she couldn't understand why I would get good grades in the arithmetic and the sciences. English was, if I got a D, I grinned. Right. When I got a C, you couldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole. We got a C in English. Right. Those were my problems. Right. History, philosophy, and those kind of courses. But that's the way I went through school. Mm-hmm. And when I finally got to college, walking in first class at Morgan was like a culture shock. That's the first time I was in a class with all blacks. Right. And when the professor walked in, the guy was teaching math, he was black. Mm-hmm. I said, this is not what I'm used to. Right. But after, it didn't take long to adjust, because these were the same kind of kids, always looking for grades, doing the work. The only class I got attention was in math. See, the professor used to call me all the time to do the problem, because this was the same thing I had in college. See, it was algebra. Right. Okay? It wasn't the general math, it was the algebra. So when these youngsters my classmates found out that I skipped over the general math, hey man, Billy knows that stuff, Billy knows that stuff. So they, hey, come on, help me. Was no problem helping them, because that was just what I've been doing. Right. To help them out. What do you want? Okay, so if they get pound cakes, about that size, right, and a bottle of milk, pints of milk. That was my charge. Just get me a pound cake, and I sit up all night with you.
So you used to tutor a lot of the girls and guys? Yeah. And see, some of them would back up by tutoring me some English or geography kind of. We traded back and forth. There wasn't no money involved in it. But you had a gift for mathematics and algebra, things like that.
Yeah, those things I could get. I don't know how, but I got them. Right. As I said before, my major in my freshman year was mathematics. Mm-hmm. So that's why I can jump right into it. In chemistry, I liked, because in my high school class, I can't remember what year it was. Anyway, I think it was my second year in high school that I was in the chemistry class. And the professor showed us that sodium was a dangerous substance. Chlorine was also dangerous, deadly. That's the things they used in World War I. And I said, oh, but he mixed them together to get salt. Mm-hmm. This fascinated me. Right. How can you take something that's poisonous and other things that's poisonous? Because sodium you couldn't keep in water, burst into flames. And I was fascinated by that. Mm-hmm. And I hooked on to chemistry. I still want to know how that happened. And of course now I know, because after all the chemistry I found out about it, those were the only two subjects that I could really just grasp. I didn't like biology either, because you had to cut something open to see blood. in Morgan, when I took biology, we had to get a cat. And my buddy mean my partner in the lab, he said, you go get the cat, I'll cut it open. Because he know I didn't like blood like that. So where did I go get the cat? Let me see if I can find it around here. We used to go up to Morgan Park, and cats run around. I'm not going to say anymore because that.
So you got a cat. That's the bottom line.
We got a cat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Quasco was the fellow's name, my buddy. We go get a cat. Now we got back to the cat, got back to the lab. Oh, we were great. We got our cat. He did the cutting, and I did the writing down what we saw. See, that part we made it. But after I got out that biology class, that was it.
That was it for that.
And to the next one I had to take. Right. See, and I just did those things because it was easy for me to do. See, so that's how I got through high school. And when I, of course, I went to Morgan, then in Fort, as I said, when I got the letter,
right.
I joined, I keep saying join, right. I was drafted into the Army. Right. And we went down to first down to Tuskegee, first Camp Upton, which is upstate New York. Right. And on weekends, guess where I was? Where? Right back to the Bronx. Right. Because you were about an hour, 2 hours from the Bronx on bus to get to Bronx, get to back and forth to the, but everybody did it, so it was no problem. We did it, so I didn't mind the joining the Army, being in the Army, because I did have time to move back and forth. But then I wound up sending us to Tuskegee.
But when you were in Upton, that was your basic training, right?
Basic training, yeah.
How was that? How was your basic training? Do you remember it at all?
Some parts of it, but when I say it wasn't bad, first of all, they told us that what we're going to have to do. Right. You're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do that, and have to do that. And I learned early in life that when they tell you they, meaning somebody in charge, like mother and father at home, do so-and-so, you have a choice. Get your block knocked off or do it. Right. So I learned to do it. Right. You know, it's the easiest way. Right. And they told us the things that I really had a good time in basic training because I found out learning something. Right. You see, and every time they gave you something to do, you did it. If you didn't do it, somebody else had to help you to do it. So I didn't have any problem with that. In fact, the other part was I asked to go to artillery school. Oh, okay. Because of my math background and the trajectory of the bullets and all that. I never got there. I didn't wonder why. Later on, I found out why, because we were not accepted into artillery school. Right. Now, those that got there was some other way, because I told them I wanted to go to basic training, then go into armory, and then go into the officer training. Well, I thought there was a possibility, but then I found out later it wasn't. Right. See, something else my father told me as a youngster. Don't prevent anything you can't prevent. I said, what's he talking about? Don't resent anything you can't prevent. Oh, okay. And he used to tell me that a lot every time. And because when I got in trouble with something, and it took me a long time to understand that. But I realized, just stop and think about it. Anything you can't prevent, don't resent it. Right. Because you run yourself crazy. Right. And that, all through basic training, that came up to me every once in a while. You see, when they tell you to do something now, oh, let me see, okay. Then I go on and do it. Didn't have any problems with that. Till we got down to Tuskegee. Okay. And that was in 42 you went to Tuskegee? That was in 43. 43? Okay. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, it was in 42. Okay. Because we didn't step up in the, we got to a place called Chihor. Tuskegee didn't have a train stop. So the train stopped in Chihor, which is about 8-10 miles from where the truck was able to wait and take us into Tuskegee proper. But it was a muddy, rainy day. It had rained 2 or 3 days, and we stepped off in the mud. So we got on the trucks and went to Tuskegee the base. It's funny now. We pulled up to a tent, and there was a wooden tent, nice tent, but they forgot to put the sides down. And each cot had a, what do you call a mattress on it, but it was rolled. So when you open up, you got nothing but a wet mattress.
Right.
And that's what we had. We slept on our clothes naturally on this wet mattress until next morning, they did give us some dry mattresses. So that's how it was met by the air. So we didn't have too bad at that time because we crewmen, or I became a crewman, an armorer, that's my training, became every crewman, there are 8 to 10 crewmen for every airplane. Fighter airplane, I mean, not a fighter pilot. So I was putting the machine guns in the airplane,
okay,
cleaning them, taking them apart, make sure that the pilot was, when he got in the plane, did like that, he wanted to have some shooting. And we learned that every 5th bullet was, what they call them things, asphalt, not phosphorus bullet.
Okay.
You saw the puff of smoke coming out of the machine gun in the daytime, and in the nighttime you see beams of light. That was I make sure we had to do that. And we had a can, you put them in and you string them on it into the everything. That was, you're always learning something, see, right there. Then the can of bullets held what we came to call 9 yards. You heard the statement, or the 9 yards of it. The pilots come back and say, clean out the 9 yards, meant you shot up all those bullets out that particular can. Right. There's one can for each gun, and there's 3 guns in the right wing, 3 guns in the left wing, just on fighter planes. And we started off with the P-47, then we went to by the time they got to the 51s, I was transferred to headquarters. See.
And what'd you do at headquarters?
I'm laughing, Gordon, because when I was transferred,
You're making me laugh every time you start giggling.
Yeah, because they put me at headquarters and I got a promotion first.
Okay.
See, when I got to headquarters, they promoted me to corporal immediately. So that was a goodie.
Okay.
Then when they gave me the roster to type up, the duty roster, hey, yes, sir, I'll do that anytime, because I knew what I was going to do about not. But after that, it was came because after then I had to train other soldiers that they switched to headquarters how to type, because the sergeant said, you do pretty good in time here. You know how to teach people? Sure, I can teach anybody. Just do that. So they put me in the classroom, put a big chart up there, type of the chart with all the letters on it, and that's how you learn ASDF, semicolon, LKJ. Those are the home keys. So from that, then you go to all the other letters. And I'm big time now, I'm teaching,
Wish your teachers could see you then, huh?
Hey, I didn't think about that. See, I didn't think about that. But after I started with
I want to talk about Blanche all the time. Look at me now, right?
Hey. I thought about that, and I became a professor.
Oh,
teaching. I said it was something nice. Didn't have to work too hard.
So you were a professor. What did you teach?
Chemistry.
Oh, okay.
Mathematics, physical science. At Coppin State College, Coppin State University now.
Oh, okay.
My first job, I'm laughing, where did they send me?
Where?
Down to Alabama. My first teaching job was down there. They didn't send me, that's where I went. In, what's the name of that little town? Oh, is that something? I can't remember. It was near Macon. Gosh, man, that's awful.
Near Macon, Georgia?
Yeah.
Far from Tuskegee?
Yes, it was, no. Oh my goodness.
Montgomery, Selma?
Fort Valley.
Oh, okay.
Fort Valley, that was it. I said, this was a shame. I couldn't remember where I went to teach first.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I went down Fort Valley, and I taught chemistry and math there.
So let me bring you back to Tuskegee. Did you leave from Tuskegee? Were you finished with the military after you?
No. That's just the beginning.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip that far apart?
Well, all of a sudden you were a professor, and I was just like, okay.
Oh, yeah, well, that was long after.
Right.
I
So
got
I want
out.
to go back to you.
Because I
being
got out
military.
in 45. But
Okay.
let's go back to 42.
Okay.
As you know, they kept the pilots, wouldn't send them across seas. They wouldn't send them to enter the war.
Right.
So we had to stay in Tuskegee while they trained. So they kept training, so they kept us there. And in Tuskegee, we used to, the crewmen, when you finish your job, they take the planes and go, so you sit down and wait till they come back. But in the evening, we used to go to the movie. Now they had one movie in Tuskegee. So for us to go to the movie, we had to sign up on the base. Then the truck, after they got 15 to 20 men, send a truckload of us into the movie. Now to get into the movie, we parked the truck here. One man out the truck, usually the sergeant, would go to the box office in the movie and buy all the tickets. They didn't let one at a time, all the tickets. So we got the tickets, then we had to go out like a fire escape, but it was a metal stairway up to the balcony in the movie.
Right.
And that's where we were allowed to sit, in the balcony.
Right, because blacks weren't allowed to be sitting downstairs.
That's right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we sat up there, and of course we didn't like it, but there's nothing else we could do. Only once we got, well, we can't call it getting here, but it was raining. And when we came out, walking down the steps, the truck was like on that side of the street, so we had to cross the street. And the others, the folks from the white folks, had to walk past where we were going to march. So we came down, and I don't know why the fella did it. He was one of the first ones, and he, instead of walking across, he slowed down, which made us come behind him and block the sidewalk. So they had to wait till we got across the street and got up on the truck and went home. Mm. They had to wait for us. You see. They had to wait for us.
for once, right?
For once.
Yeah.
See, well, we didn't like it because we said, well, here we are fighting, getting ready to go fight, and here we had to go through this. We couldn't go into town.
Right.
Except to the movie and a place called a Block in Tuskegee. Had this row of stores right across from the university, which was called a Block. And that's where we had to buy anything. They had the 5 and 10 in town, which they told us, don't go unless you go with more than one. So we said, well, leave it alone. So we go in the Block and get what we wanted. Mm-hmm. But we enjoyed what we could enjoy.
Right.
We were well aware of what not to do, you see. And we only had one problem there. One time some soldiers came into the bus station and they missed the truck. They usually pick them and bring them in. So they walked through the farm of one of the farmers there, and the man shot at them with a shotgun.
Wow.
Fortunately, he missed. So the soldiers ran to the Block. They had to go to the Block and wait anyway to get back to the base.
Right.
And we had heard on the base about this because at just about that time, a female officer, nurse, came to the bus station and asked the MPs, the white MPs that were there, how to get to the base. And they said, well, you got to wait here for a truck. So after she waited a while, she asked them again. And they told her, we don't have to answer any questions of you folks. and she's the only person in there.
Mm-hmm.
So just about that time, our RMPs, now we had our own MPs, drove by in the Jeep and then picked her up because they found out she was out there. Well, in the meantime, the sheriff, the man's farm that they ran through,
Right.
got a whole bunch of trucks to come down and get these soldiers that just ran across. They didn't do anything; they just ran across there. And he lined up about 4 or 5 these pickup trucks. Like, that's a long road to come down to the block. That same road you had to go back to the base.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Webb, Colonel Webb, he was a Captain Webb at that time. He was the provost marshal on the base. He sent one truck and a Jeep. Now the Jeep had a 50 caliber machine gun on it. You've seen it. Right. The truck had a 50 caliber machine gun on it. So they sent them to pick us up who were left at the block. The trucks got there first, and we were loading the trucks until they looked down the road, about 6 or 7 headlights coming down towards us.
With 50s on the top.
No. We had the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
These were the sheriff's cars.
Oh, okay.
Little pickup trucks and things like that. All the farmers said they'd come get us.
Oh, okay.
They wanted to try these 2 boys, these 2 soldiers rather. They got to just in front of the truck, and the sheriff got out and said, as he got out, Captain Webb got out and talking to him. He said, well, we want those niggers that ran across Mr. So-and-so. And, we stopped just looking at him. We wouldn't say anything. So Captain Webb said, well, if you're talking about soldiers, you can't get them. They belong to the Army. Well, we want them. We're going to take them. And he's standing on the truck with a shotgun across his lap. He's standing there, you lean over, and they're talking back and forth. So Webb looked back at the soldier who was on the Jeep, happened to be named Joe Lewis.
Wow.
And he said, Sergeant Lewis, load and unload.
Wow.
And you hear, and you should see us and say, all right, there you go. And the fellow on the truck did the same thing. Now he got a 50 caliber machine gun on a Jeep,
right, and
50 caliber machine gun on a truck. Now that's kind of stuff you want to look at.
Right.
You see, so the sheriff said, well, we're going to get, and Captain Webb says, no, sir, I don't think you are. Now he said, I would suggest that you move your trucks because we're coming through. We're going back to the base. And by the time he said that, he had the Jeep start up and a 6x6 at the truck. When you hear those, that kind of noisy. The Jeep started off, and as he told him to move, and those trucks coming towards us now, went around to get out our way. Mm-hmm. And as they got past them, and the Jeep, the little car, trucks going by, we were grinning, singing on the truck. Making noise. The next day, the MPs were not allowed to carry pistols on when they went into town.
Oh, really?
The MPs.
Your MP.
Our MPs.
Yeah.
Had not carry 45. They all carried 45. Right. All of them did.
But they couldn't carry a 45.
No, sir.
Yeah.
And
that could have been a major incident that
yes.
night.
We were barred from going in town.
Yeah.
It was off limits for us.
Yeah.
For about a week.
Yeah, they had to wait for things to cool down, that's for sure.
And old Colonel Davis and somebody got them straightened out.
Yeah.
If we're going to go in town, they were going to have our men there.
And Joe Lewis, that was just the guy.
That was his name. That happened to be his name.
Joe
No.
Okay.
There wasn't the boxer Joe Lewis.
Okay, so then what went on down in Tuskegee? What was your next move after that?
Well, we went to New York to go overseas.
Okay.
You remember the story of Eleanor Roosevelt?
Right.
Okay. She came down to Selma, which is not far from Tuskegee, and she wanted to ride an airplane. And the only plane with a pilot at that was a black fella.
Right.
He had just landed, and the CIA man that escorted Eleanor, Mrs. Roosevelt, excuse me, said, "You have to wait till we get a pilot." So she said, "Well," pointed to the fellow who just landed the plane.
Right.
They called the president and told him that they're having trouble with Mrs. Roosevelt because she wanted to go on an airplane ride and we didn't have a pilot here. He said, "Well, get one." He said, "But she wanted to ride
With
now with that, he said, that man."
Yeah.
They tried to explain to the president that there was a black man.
Right.
See, and they wasn't going to have that. So she said, "I want to ride with that man." Kept pointing to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the president told them, "Well, you know Eleanor. She got in the plane. They flew, went around and landed. The next week, beside Eleanor, the African-American, the black newspapers had us in New York, in a ship.
Ready to go.
No, gone.
Gone.
They did, just that quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, what the newspapers have been talking about getting us over there to fight, because we trained and trained and trained. And see, that's the one thing that the government didn't realize. The more training that we got, the better we got.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You see, because a normal training for fighter pilots was 6 months, and then they went overseas. We had 6 months and 6 more months, and just they were training. We had to do the same thing to loading guns. We had a fellow that I'm trying to remember, Grimes, I think his name was. He could take a 50 caliber machine gun apart, put it back together, blindfolded.
Yeah.
And he was showing off, but I never got that good.
Yeah.
What he did, he put the blindfold on to do it.
Yeah.
That's how much time he could train. But they gave us, anytime we went in, any railway, and after that, anytime we got in, we always, when I say one, I'm talking about the pilots, always came out tops. When we got back home, I'm skipping again.
Yeah. Where'd you go when you left New York?
There was a United States had something similar to like Olympics, where just fighter pilots, fighter planes were involved in it. They had shooting, they had landing, they had bombing, and something else they had, strafing. In the first competition that the United States allowed us in, we won, I think there were 5 events, we won 2. The shooting and something else. The next year they canceled it. Now, we're not going to say anymore. The next year they canceled it.
I don't know if I can keep doing this.
Wait.
This is real. I know. I know you're telling the truth. I've heard the stories. Go ahead.
Yeah, but see, that's why I say you're going to see me laughing.
Yeah.
Because now, even after that, when we realized they were stupid. They were playing right into our hands, giving us the training. They must have think we were stupid, which they did think we were stupid. You see, and then you heard the stories about when they first initiated the 99th Pursuit Squad, that was what it was first called. They didn't believe the men could handle the test.
Right.
And that in the movie,
Right.
that's true. They made us take 2 tests. They didn't believe the grades on the first one. So the second class they had, not the same class, all of them got close to 100.
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
So, hey, what else you can do? And the other thing was the first group of men that went into the pilot training were all college professors, PhDs, all fellows with brains. Because they knew one thing, they can't fail this.
Right.
So anyone that went in had brains.
Right.
Even to try it, even to tackle it.
Right.
You see. So it wasn't too bad. That's how some of us got sent down to Tuskegee.
Right.
Not with that brains, but we weren't dummies. In other words, we could do things that you give us the directions, how to do it, and leave us alone. We'll do it. And the more they did that, the more we stayed, they had to do things in the Army. Believe it, that was our kind of motto. They're not going to give us anything to do that we can't do.
Right.
Or find a way to do it.
Right.
And every place we went, we had the same thing to do it. But you just had to, I don't know, right now I say you just had to grab it by the nuts. Oh,
No, that's all right. It's your tape.
Well, or you can scratch it out if you want. But it's it. I mean, you know, that's why when I talk, I laugh. When I said, I'm not laughing at, but I'm grinning at the situation.
Yes.
Hey, you beat me with a stick and I take a stick away from you.
Right.
You see, or find some way to keep you from beating me. And when you tell me what I can't do, and I stop and think, well, maybe I can't, but I'm sure going to try.
Right.
You see, each time you try, you get better and better. So, hey, I can't say I had a good time, but I had a pleasant time. And every time we succeeded in something, I felt good about it.
So when you went overseas, where did you go? Like where did you
Casablanca. We landed in North Africa, Casablanca.
Okay.
And it took us an 8-day trip on the Mariposa, the name of the ship, by ourselves. By ourselves. I mean, we didn't go in the convoy.
Okay.
We were the only ship on the water. And every time somebody would say something, they would say, submarines are looking for you. You know, now you're on a ship out there in the water, and they're talking about submarines following you, and I can't swim. I still can't swim. But I was worse off. I was seasick 6 of the 8 days on the water.
Oh, really?
That's right. I couldn't eat anything. The only thing I could eat was toast, drink coffee, and hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah. That was a tough combination.
That's a tough combination, right? I'm not going to say anymore.
But, and plus you were a little nervous too, thinking about them submarines.
Scared.
Right.
I never used to call nerves. You
So you went to Casablanca. Did you have a mission after you got to Casablanca? Or what did you do?
We didn't have any missions until we landed. We got in Casablanca, and they went to. The British were there pushing Rommel, Montgomery, pushing Rommel across North Africa. We had to fly. We flew top cover for the British Army as they flew across. So that's where we got it. We joined the 319th or the 39th British Air Force group, because there weren't any American Air Force units in North Africa. We didn't reach, and I say we because they had to keep moving us places.
Right.
There was no place attached till we got to Sicily. Now that's after they went straight across North Africa, got to Cape Bon, on the other end in Egypt, and went across to Sicily. Okay. Sicily is, a little island off the toe.
Right.
And when we landed there, we went to Gala, Sicily. That's the capital of it. They joined, I think that was the 8th Air Force.
Okay.
Because that's the only time we saw an American Air Force unit. We stayed there, I don't know how long, but anyway, we left there and went across to Italy in the invasion of Salerno. And that's when we joined the 15th Air Force. And that's where we had to wait to really get into battles. they gave us permission, not permission, but the pilots began to fly real combat missions. And one of the things we did when we got, I think it was the 8th or the 5th one, they attached us, I forgot the number, to one Air Force unit with some other squadrons. They called headquarters and said to have your pilots down for the briefing at 6:30. Sorry, 7:30. But when they got there, it was too late because they had the briefing at 6:30.
Someone changed the time.
Sure, they changed the time.
Yeah, I remember that.
That afternoon, the day before, they had a board up there for the pilots in their ready room, briefing at 7:30. So they got there now, and so they told them, well, you just follow us. Now, the pilots talking about, you just follow us. They didn't realize they could follow them so good. But when they started doing that, they look back, oh, they still here. And that's how we made it. And as I said, one of the things that we did as a crewman, you could go into town. And it was in Naples. We went to a Red Cross unit. They had a big building there. And after we went into the building, on our way out, there were 4 of us, 3 or 4 anyway. There were a bunch of kids out there, and they wanted candy. So we give them candy, and didn't give them any cigarettes. But these kids would get the candy and run around, run around behind you. You see, and we said, well, now they must think we're not bright enough to know. Oh, thank you. Bright enough to know that we just gave them candy. So they ran around and back him on this side. One of the policemen one time, he stopped them. And we said, why? You know, hey, they've been doing this a long time. So he said, you don't know why they're doing this? No. He called one of the little boys and spoke to him in Italian. And the boy kept talking, repeating, and kept doing that. And the policeman told us, they thought all black soldiers had tails. And they was running back there looking for the tails. So we laughed. He said, oh, no. Then we began to think about it. You believe this?
Yeah. Yep.
We were over here fighting. So with that, we realized we had 2 wars to fight.
Right.
See, because many times the people say to us that can speak English, because a whole lot of foreigners spoke on this, because a lot of them been to America. Why are you guys over here fighting for the kind of freedom you don't have back home?
Right.
And naturally, we stopped and thought about it. We discussed it. So, we answer, sometimes we say, well, it's because back home there's a possibility, but, we didn't think anymore. The Chinaman, I'm not going to say that word, but there was no hope for it to be different back home. And we tell them, well, we're going to try anyway, because that's where our family is. All of our families are there.
Right.
See, and British soldiers will stop us and say the same thing. Why are you Americans over here fighting like this to go back to what you got there? You disliked it, you hated it, but what you going to do? Don't resent what you can't prevent.
There you go.
That carried me through. I mean, we all knew it.
Right.
We knew what was back there. If you want to get some real information, talk to some of the pilots that came back. See, we flew back. Those of us from here, flew back with Colonel Davis.
Right.
To take over the D-32nd. He took it over, but we were sent to Godman Field. Us, headquarters people, sent down Godman Field to train others to go to the Japanese theater. But you talk to some of the pilots that flew back. They got off the gangplank. They just come back from fighting in Italy and Germany and bombing and all. At the bottom of the gangplank, colored and white. Now, you just got through fighting, you know. Well, we didn't have to go through that, of course. I said we flew back. But all the others had came back by boat.
Right.
When you got off the gangplank, big sign, colored and white.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can see why you laugh at times because like it was so ridiculous. Some of the
That's
that's
exactly
the
why.
reason it to make you chuckle. And to see you made it. You know, like you were
Oh,
able
we're
to
blessed.
you
We
know
were blessed.
overcome that whole situation, and you're here today to tell
Yeah.
this story. You know, like and that's truly a
Oh,
blessing.
that's why I tell them, don't mind my laughing because we made it.
Right.
You see,
Right.
and we're blessed. We did to get back home, and when we came back home, well, let me go back and finish it through Italy.
Right.
The things we found out and we enjoyed, we were allowed to travel all the way to Italy. I went to Rome, and I can see well going from Rome here. We went to Venice, Ramatelli, that's where we were stationed. I got to Rome to see a pope. I don't know his number, but I did see the pope. And we're looking at those guards he had with the panatella breeches, different colored. But you're talking about being soldiers. When they came down and walked down, they were all about the same height. And then those long, what do they call them, spears? No, they didn't call them, what they call them?
Bayonets.
No.
Oh, with the Pope.
They put the Pope, what they call those things they carried?
I
It
don't
was
know,
long
you know.
sticks with the, look like spears, yeah.
Yeah.
But when they marched and they did like that, the people moved. There was no messing with them. They're all about 6 feet and above.
Yeah.
And they didn't bother us. They looked at us and they never saluted. We saluted them.
Yeah.
See? Because we knew, don't cross that line.
Oh yeah.
So don't even try it. Don't even get that close.
Right.
But the other thing that amazed me was the number of people that are out there. And when he walked out, the Pope came out on the balcony,
Silence.
silent. The only other time I saw it was when our president now, Obama, was down there because he invited Tuskegee Airmen. We all went, all of us that could go. All those millions of people there. When he walked out, got quiet.
Yeah.
I looked up there and said, I know many of us there saying our prayer, our wishes, our hopes, our dreams. Looked up there and there's one.
Right.
That's to prove it. It can be done.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
Oh, don't stop me preaching.
No, that's all right. I was there. It was a year ago yesterday. And it was
that's right, the
cold.
20th.
It was cold. Wasn't it?
Very cold.
18 degrees.
Very cold. I had a cap on and scarf, earmuff, and the only problem, my earmuff kept not sitting right. So I had to take the scarf and try to wrap around it. But I couldn't keep the cap on right if I did, so yes, indeed. I had all was necessary.
Now, also, just real quick, you know, like, because I noted that you guys were responsible for sinking a battleship with 50, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was amazing.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And not only that, we got the medal
Wow.
from the president in March of 2007.
Right.
Congressional Medal.
Congressional, right. You guys got the Congressional Gold.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I got one in my pocket here.
See, I know where mine was. See, you don't know.
Are you kidding? The original one is 3. Oh, you got one.
No, I seen it.
I didn't bring it because I thought you said 3.5 inches diameter.
It's heavy.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Don't you have one of these?
No. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'm sorry I don't have but one to give away.
Thank you very much. I will keep this and treasure this forever, sir.
You're
Always
welcome.
remember Dr. Byron for this one here. It's the first time anybody ever gave me anything.
No, it's not.
They sure
Scratch
did.
that. Scratch that.
Yeah, we'll scratch it. You won't hear that on there. Watch. Dr. Cyril Osbourne Byron. One more question. When you returned here to the United States, where did you go? Did you go back to the Bronx?
Back to school.
Back to school?
Right back to school.
Which one?
I
Copper?
went to Morgan. Don't forget, I left there my sophomore year,
Oh, okay.
and I went back to finish.
Oh, back to Morgan. Oh,
That,
wow.
yeah, I got back from overseas, June the 10th, 1945. We landed in LaGuardia Airfield. Got off the airplane, kissed the ground, said, "Thank you, Jesus." They called my folks at home in the Bronx. My sister answered the phone. I said, "Tita?" She said, "Oh, yeah, Tita." That's what we called instead of Blanche. "This is Billy." No, Billy's overseas. So when I called her Tita again, she realized what she yelled to my mother to come to the phone. My mother got to the phone, and I said, "Mom." She burst out crying. Gave the phone to my sister. But I told her I'll be home as soon as I can. I got home, opened the door. My mother got on her knees,
Yep.
got on prayed. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
After finding that, it was something. Well, anyway, I got back and I went to see my girlfriend, of course.
Why is that?
Turn
No, no,
shut that thing off. And July 10th, we eloped and went to Atlantic City and got married.
July 10th, what year?
Same year.
Oh, what was that?
1 month from 1945.
45? Okay.
Yeah, we landed in June of 45.
Okay. And July.
Got married, yeah. I was going down just to visit, because most of the fellows that came back before me, they went to Atlantic City, gave them 30 days. So I was using up part of mine then. And went to Atlantic City, Dennis Hotel.
The place was never the same after that, was it?
See that? It turned into a minute. I got some private talk with the man here. Anyway, and then I went back to school, as I said, and used my GI Bill.
Yeah.
After I finished at Morgan, I went to New York University, got my master's degree, then went to Temple. Several years later, got my doctorate degree.
Wow.
On the GI Bill. And when I finished that, I didn't have anything left. I didn't have to go to school anymore. See, but I worked. I was a policeman for the Port of New York Authority in New York. That's the first one, the first job I had. And I worked a couple other places and decided to start teaching. My mother said, "Now, why you spend all that time in school and you don't put it to good use?"
Right.
So while I was on the police department, I gotta laugh at this. They had a softball team, and I was with the Lincoln Tunnel Police, played the George Washington Bridge Police.
Wow.
The George Washington Bridge Police, the captain up there, was a ball fiend. He had that team going all around New Jersey playing. When we, from the Lincoln Tunnel, played them and beat them, he transferred 2 of us from the Lincoln Tunnel team to the George Washington Bridge. Now, when you get transferred to the George Washington Bridge, it's like a promotion. You don't have to get in that smoke or anything like that. And either you got shot at or old enough to retire soon, then you transfer to the George Washington Bridge. Well, when they transferred the 2 of us, everybody wanted to know who they used to call who's your rabbi. See, somebody had to know somebody.
Right.
See, and they transferred the fellow was the left fielder and I was the shortstop. because the two of us beat the whole team a couple of weeks ago. That's how I got transferred.
Transferred because of baseball.
Softball.
Softball.
I'm not going to say that one. He needed some hitters on the softball team. That's true.
Oh, wow, wow.
Then they transferred us to the George Washington Bridge, and we won the tournament of the police officers in Bergen County, Newark County, all those counties around the George Washington Bridge.
Right.
And we won the championship.
Wow.
So we had a banquet for us, you know, and my wife and I attended. He told my wife he can get anything he wants about a transfer. She said, and when she told me that, she said, why don't you see about getting a transfer to day so you can school at night? And that's something almost unheard of. In the police department, to get a straight shift unless you've done something great or something like that. So I asked him. And he said, what do you mean? He said, I want to go to school at night, but I need to be straight shift. I can't work, you know, like I was working. He said, let me see. And about a week later, he called. There was a forthwith, means report to the man forthwith, for me to go see the captain, and I did. He said, when do you want to go? I thought he was kidding. He said, I said, I want to start the next semester at night school at NYU. He said, okay, we're going to transfer you to day. But what they did was, these people smart, they're not crazy. About a month before, they had a big fire in the Holland Tunnel because they wasn't checking the loads of stuff that the trucks were going through. Where to cause the fire, they had gasoline on this truck. It wasn't supposed to be on there. Anything with a below 85 flash point. You remember flash points, all right? But they were doing it. So they had to get somebody to check these trucks before they got through. So they got a squad of us policemen to be the checkers at 6:30 in the morning. So he said, well, I shouldn't do this. One morning, now with the police, we walked 8 to 4:40 and around the clock. Right. On my 8 o'clock shift, I was in 8 o'clock. The sergeant, as to give you your duties, said, Brian, we want, where's Officer Brian? So I'm still standing there. He said, Officer Brian? I said, you mean Byron? He said, yeah, Byron. He said, yeah, Byron, but you're not Brian. I said, no. He had the list of men they picked out for their squadron. They happened to look on my record and see that I graduated with a chemistry degree. So I should know the chemicals by name.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't believe it was me.
Right.
So, and stupid me never thought of because they've been missing my name a lot of times.
Right.
So I went to work in the tunnel. Just about noontime, the phone rang. You are to report headquarters. So they send somebody in to replace me so I can go to headquarters. And when I got there, this other sergeant said, didn't you get your name called? Did you hear your name called? I said, no, the fella called Brian. And when I told him, Byron, I'm Byron,
right.
He said, oh, no, not you. He said, who did that? I said, Sergeant, somebody, I forgot the guy's name now. He said, they want you downtown. I'm now really concerned because I know I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
When I went downtown, to the headquarters downtown, there had 6 of us in this room talking to a lawyer.
Okay.
We had to go to court. No, prepared to go to court. You see, so we had to be ready when we stopped the truck. The companies would complain. See, because you keep them from going through the Holland Tunnel. And if you know New York, Holland Tunnel, Lincoln Tunnel, George Washington Bridge.
Right.
That's a long trip go from one to the other. So while we were just talking, they gave us a slip of paper with these chemical names on them. See? And he said, what we want you to do is understand these names and learn these names and know what the flashpoints are. Of the 6 of us sitting in the room, only 3 of us know what flashpoint meant.
Mm.
The other 3, there were guys who had some knowledge of it because they'd been there longer. They were senior policemen, so put it that way.
Right.
So we went, did what we were supposed to do. Then the next day, instead of going to my regular job, that night rather, they called me and told me to report to the Holland Tunnel
Right.
at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's from coming from my house to go down to the Holland Tunnel. It's just like the end of, I'm trying to give you some kind of,
No, I know how.
okay, well, you know.
Go ahead.
And I said, now that means I had to get up at about 4:30
Right.
to go through the traffic. Anyway, I went down there. About 3 weeks, they moved me up to the Lincoln Tunnel. Why? Because we were having ball games, and I was too far away.
Oh, too far away to get there in time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyway, it was easier for me too also.
Okay.
But the funny thing was, we went to court because we were stopping too many trucks.
Right.
And the captain told me we were doing too good a job.
Mm-hmm.
Because even the trucks that came to George Washington Bridge, some of them we didn't let go through because the flashpoint wasn't what it's supposed to be. Anything below 85, go through. That means it'll burst into flame.
Right.
Temperature 85 degrees.
Right.
So that's what you got to watch out for. Go to court. In court, they ask you your name, your rank, blah, 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 blah. How were you selected to do so-and-so? I said, well, I was able to understand the terminology that was written on the, what do you call those things, the trucks carry. Oh, man. On all trucks, they have lists of things they carry.
Almost like a manifest of some sort?
Like a manifest. Let's call it a manifest, yes. So I said, so the fellow said, well, where did you learn? I said, I got a degree from Morgan State College. Morgan said, where's that? I said, it's a college in Baltimore. Well, did you say you got a degree? He said, well, what are you doing here, on the police force? I said, I'm working. Then I said, well, I tried to get a job as a research chemist. And the 2 plants I went to weren't hiring. I passed the test for this job, so I took it. Oh. Well, he handed me, read that. Now, this is the lawyer from the trucking company. And I read it to him. It had the chemical names and flashpoints, and like he's trying to want me to interpret that for him,
Right.
which was nothing hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And after he said, okay, Why did you stop? I said, well, they had several things on the manifest that would blow the flashpoint. And according to my responsibility was not to let any trucks, anything, items go through the tunnel. He said, well, why did you keep him from going across the George Washington Bridge? I said it was supposed to be further in the open. He came through the wrong part of George Washington Bridge. Oh, we were all fired.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they couldn't just fire me.
Right, right.
See?
So they got rid of all of you.
They playing the game too. Let's play it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because the companies was losing too much money for the trucks having traveled that far. That's the main reason.
Right.
See? So I had to go back to regular shift.
But you did finish your college.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, as it says here, it says that Dr. Cyril Osbourne Byron, Sr., was for honorary, served with the U.S. Army Air Force 99th Aero Squadron. It also has that he received his honorable discharge from the Army of the United States. He received this from the 99th Flight Squadron.
No, Fighter Squadron.
Fighter Squadron, right.
Yeah.
Fighter Squadron, 9 September 1945. He also has separation of records. He's got his meritorious service record. And Dr. Byron has a lot of interesting stories for sure. And we're so glad, Dr. Byron. Is there anything else that you have that you want to say to us before we end this interview? Because you have really enlightened me on the stories that I've heard in the past, about the things that I've heard in the past. You've had some things that you've added that really enlightened me about things that the Tuskegee Airmen have gone through, and people like yourself have accomplished and pursued other areas and become successful. And I'm truly proud of you, and I can't thank you enough for this.
Oh,
this medal here.
It was just a pleasure being here, and blessed that I was able to attribute what I've gone through that might help someone else understand what it was like.
Well,
and others will tell you to be back home and have gone through what we've gone through, and to let them know that it can be done. Let these youngsters know it can be done. But you got to grit your teeth and sometimes really take it harder when it's hard to swallow, but take a bigger swallow.
And what was your father's famous saying again?
Don't resent anything you cannot prevent.
On that note, we'll end this interview, and we thank you very much for your service to the United States of America, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.
Thank you.
But don't forget to take out those little things.
Amplify them, turn them up when you